Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everyone. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Fara. People know me as Fara. I'm 15 years old and I'm here to talk about my hobby. Honestly, I don't have any hobby. But Pak Agong suggests me to choose photography as my hobby, so do I. Nowadays, more people rather using their smartphone than using camera to take pictures. That's not because of the price. It's simply because smartphone is simpler to use, simpler to bring, and you can do other things with it, such as playing games, sending texts, and browsing on the internet. So, how do I use a camera? I've been using camera since I joined JOSE, a journalism course in SMP Negeri 1 Purwodadi. We're asked to take some photos or videos for avoiding copyright, and sometimes we interviewed several people. After that, we have to write an article which will be published in the school magazine. Unfortunately, my article wasn't selected to be published in the school magazine, so I cannot show it here. Here are some photos taken by me using the DSLR camera. The object of the vertical photo is my classmate in junior high school. Her name's Gracia Salsabila. I took this during the yearbook photo shoot. On the top side is my auntie. Her name's Bayu Setyaningrum. I took this on the terrace. And the last photo was taken during the 2022 carnival. But things don't always go so well. I often make mistakes in taking pictures. And here it is. As you guys can see, there's a lot of dots in the photo. It's called noise or grainy. It caused by the ISO being too high. So do not hide ISO in the dark places. But don't worry, those dots can be removed in the editing app. Next slide, please. If you've ever taken a photo of a moving object and it was blurry, it might be caused by using too low shutter speed. You should use higher shutter speed, like 250 or more, to avoid motion blur. And change the focus mode to continuous autofocus so that the focus can follow the moving object. Last but not least, if you're taking photos, act quickly and precisely so you can take candid photos. Next slide, please. There's so many different types of cameras, such as analog camera, mirrorless camera, DSLR camera, and so forth. But have you ever considered how the camera came about in the first place? It begins with a human desire. Painting and drawing were initially developed aspects of our surroundings. To assist in taking this reality, they began with the camera obscura. The camera obscura is seen as early as the 4th century BC through the writing of a Chinese philosopher, Mozi. This camera doesn't capture images per se, but rather manipulates them. The light that is reflected off an external structure. For example, a building comes into a room or box with a small hole in the side. The light, due to optical inversion, is then reflected upside down inside of the camera, and complete detail and color. So how did we get something like this from the camera obscura? Let's go back to the Burgundy section of France, the year 1826. Joseph Niepce, French inventor, has been experimenting the light-sensitive material for quite some time. He used his knowledge of chemistry to develop bitumen solution, which he coated on a pewter plate and exposed to 8 hours of sunlight, capturing the first photograph known to mankind. After his death in 1833, Niepce's understudy Louis Daguerre took this idea and geared it towards public use in the form as daguerreotype. This invention became vastly popular, but it had its issues. During capture, each person would have to sit completely still for many minutes. Hence why in these photographs, people tend to look unhappy. It was difficult to hold the grin for the duration of the exposure. So many opted for a neutral face that sometimes came off as angry. Without stereotypes, retaking an image really wasn't an option. So, in the year 1800, Kodak released the Kodak Brownie. The Brownie was the introduction to everyday photography as we know it today. As you can see, this is basically a miniature version of the camera obscura, but the whole cutout here has a lens put in it rather than a pinhole. This allows a more concentrated light amount of sunlight flow into the camera, thus allowing a shorter exposure time. Through the viewfinder on the side, you will be able to see what you are taking an image of, so it is upside down as it was with the camera obscura. In order to capture the image, a sensitive film would be placed inside of the camera. The consumer of this product would never develop the image themselves, hence the tagline, you press the button, we do the rest. Over the years, cameras have drastically transformed from box, film, Polaroid, DSLR, GoPro, and even smartphone. So next time that you take a picture, consider how much history went into capturing that one moment. Thank you for listening to my speech. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.